I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm thinking back to some of the mentors and the things that they told me over the years. And one, I think it's important to be able to have someone that's been there
Mhm.
because they can tell you some of the things that you need to know, and they can also tell you some of the things that you don't want to hear. I was watching something, and this is kind of goes back to what I do with the business assessments. Sometimes I'm the bad guy because people will come to me, and what they're not they're saying they want a strategist, but what they want is validation.
Mm,
And that validation is, tell me I'm right, tell me I've figured everything out. And if I'm looking at it and I know you, yes, you can get where you want to be able to go doing it the way that you want to be able to do it, but it's going to take you like 5 times as long. And based on what you're telling me, your runway is a lot shorter than your budget. So we have to figure out a way to be able to help you get there in a way that's going to be responsible. Because the other thing I try to explain to people is, it's not your professional decisions affect your personal life, and your personal life affects your professional decisions. So you can get the buy-in from the people in your life that say, okay, I'm going to give you time to be able to figure that out. But if you're spending that time winging it, and you don't put something in place that allows you to be able to show some kind of progress where you can show them what you're doing, then you're running into an issue where you're going to think you have a support system and you don't.
mm,
So that's one thing. But then it also made me think too. I was watching something, and I saw Kobe Bryant. I was going through it because I'd had a conversation with someone, and I was trying to explain to her like, you've got all the technical chops, but your business model, it's going to be rough. And she took it a certain kind of way. And I was watching a video with Kobe Bryant. And he said, do you want to have a friend that'll tell you have spinach in your teeth, or someone that doesn't tell you have spinach in your teeth? Because if I remember saying that to like a girl in the office one time. She was walking and she had something on. I was like, you realize you got something? And she took it the right way. She was like, you know what? Thank you. I passed like 5 or 10 people and nobody said a word to me about it.
yep,
Whereas there's the other audience that will get mad at you, but hindsight is 2020. So you got to take the brunt of it when you say it to them initially. But then once they start to see the signs of it and start to realize, oh yeah, now that is something I have to address, then they're willing to listen to you a little bit more. The other thing it made me think of is, you talking about you have to put yourself out there. I'm old school. Like I've been around for a while, and sales is different than it was when I was doing sales. You sold it and you managed it. So
mhm,
like that is a completely different type of sales. And I think that's where it kind of goes back to, we're not knocking younger generations. We're just saying there's a different level of accountability now. Now you can sell something and then hand it off to the next person who has to bear the brunt of whatever it was that you sold. And that's where I started to realize, as I got further into my career, I moved higher up to be able to go, you know what? I want to be there when you do the sales call, because I get the feeling like they're telling you something and you're selling what you feel comfortable selling, as
mm,
opposed to what we actually have. And if we don't have it, then I can listen and go, you know what, is this something that's going to be something that adds value to the actual company? So I think that's another part that entrepreneurs should really be able to listen to. But listening to what you're saying, like you have to get out there. I remember we used to have to do 100 calls a day. Like you got to get those dials in.
mm,
And it's the understanding of a no is a no, but it can also be a not right now if you're listening and you present it properly.
yep,
And if you can start to read the difference between a no and a not right now, then you're well on your way to being able to start to move further through that customer journey, build a rapport with people, and actually learn how to read a room. So I love that you've had those 400 different people that you've worked with and started guiding them through it, because those are the types of things that you only learn from the reps. Like you don't get past someone saying no, or, get out of here with that.
right,
I know I get the cold calls, and it's a pet peeve of mine when someone calls me or they'll send something out. They'll do the tear down, and let me tell you all the things that are wrong. And my thing is, you know what? One, I didn't ask. And then there's the cold calls where someone says, "Is this Sean?" And my thing is, let me break down to you how it actually comes across, because you're using like a sales pitch and an approach from the 80s and the 90s,
mhm,
and we're in 2025. That's the equivalent of walking into my apartment or walking into my home, sitting down on the couch in the living room, and when I walk by, you ask me who I am. Like,
right,
I'm over here minding my business, doing my work, and you're calling me and asking me is this Sean? Instantly, it's like, okay, I need you to get to the point, because now you let me know you're not properly trained to be able to understand. I used to do those dials, and the first thing that I would check is to listen for it. Does it sound like I interrupted them, or do they sound like they have a moment? Because if they sound like they have a moment, then I go into this sales pitch. If it sounds like I interrupted them, the first thing I'm starting off with is being more apologetic and trying to see if I can at least get them to be able to say now's not a good time. So it gives me a reason to add them back to the list of those 100 dials. And
Mhm.
then that makes it easier for the next time I call to go, well, I mean, you said that wasn't a good time. So my follow-up question to that is when is? Because I don't want to catch you during a time where I'm causing you any kind of angst or anxiety. I want
Mhm.
to be able to bring value, and I can't do that if I'm calling you during a time when you don't have time. So how do I find you when you actually have a moment to more than just hear me out, but to actually listen to the value that I could potentially bring to you? That's sales. And I just
But
wish
that's
more people understood that.
that's the and I have that issue in my company. I see it in others, right? It's the difference between you wanting to check a box and you actually trying to get the result.
Yeah.
Trying to actually affect change in your bottom line and your client's bottom line. It's a philosophy, a
Mhm.
philosophical approach to the thing. Hey, they said I need to make 100 dials, so I'm just going da 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 da,
Mhm. Mhm.
as opposed to I'm trying to make every dial count, right? If somebody picks up the phone, I need to be in position and ready to take advantage of this. I did the research on the person. I know what it is that they need or might need, or at least I have a educated guess at what I can help them with, and I know exactly what I'm going to ask them. I've done some work so that I'm not wasting their time because I actually want to help and I actually want to close this deal, right? So yeah, it's a different time, and for those that realize that, and as they used to tell me when I was a youngster, respect and listen to your elders, right?
Yeah.
They've been there, done that. They
Yeah.
they they know that the curvature of the road that you're about to go down,
Mhm.
right? For those that are trying to actually get ahead and do something, it's like if you can gather this wisdom from people that have been there, you may be able to speed up your progress.